All righty. I want to welcome everyone to our recognition form assistance workshop, if you will. So each year you all know that we have our banquet in the fall, and it's typically located in October type of time frame, maybe November. During this workshop we host each year, we just want to give families some assistance. We want to help you all to better understand our 4-H lingo and what's going on, as well as how your kids can be recognized. One of our major goals, myself and I keep saying we, the 4-H Council and the committee who has put these new forms together, is they want to recognize kids for what they're doing in their community, in their 4-H organization, and those types of things. So today I'm going to be covering a couple of things. I'm going to be covering first and foremost about our recognition forms related to banquet. We have both a member form and a Cloverbud form for our little guys. Our member form is going to be our form for ages 9 to 18, and our Cloverbud form is just for those 5 to 8-year-olds. We're going to be talking about that today and how what they need to do in order to get that information recorded, as well as for recognition at banquet. We're also going to talk about the achievement application. Whereas this first forms that we're going to be talking about is a form related to the county recognition. We're going to be talking about the achievement form as well. And that is one that is recognized at the county and state level. So a couple of different forms we're talking about today. So I'm going to be doing a little bit of screen share so that everybody can see what I'm talking about. So first and foremost, we're going to be talking about the end of year member recognition form. So I'm going to share that on the screen. So hopefully, can everybody see that on the screen? The Word document?
Yes.
All right, perfect. I always like to make sure that I've got it on there, right? So on the screen is our end of year member recognition form. Like I previously mentioned, we have banquet once a year. Banquet leads up to recognizing all of our kids for what they actually accomplished in the last 4-H year. The 4-H year, as indicated at the top of this form, is September 1st through August 31st. So in this case, we are looking at recognizing kids for what they started doing last September of 2020 through August of this 2021 year. And then that banquet is a couple months later in October after we receive the kids' forms. On this form, we ask the kids just to put down some basics about themselves. So if your child is in the ages 9 to 18 as our 4-H age, then you're going to be completing this form here. This form asks for some really basic information like name, 4-H age, years of 4-H, and which clubs that they have been involved in. Additionally, this form is rather simple. It asks for the kids to list any up to 10 activities that they've done at the county level. Now, the goal of the recognition form and 4-H banquet is to recognize our kids at the county, area, and state and national levels for any and all things that they've done that they just deserve a round of applause for, and we want to recognize. Some of our kids just participate a lot at the county level. So county level participation may look a lot like a workshop. It might look a lot like a day event, day camps, the 4-H box kits that we've been doing, a lot of different things, attending banquet, helping the agent maybe with a workshop, a lot of various different things that can occur at the county level. If they've done it, we want them to record it here at the county level location there. Secondly is the area level. A lot of times we refer to ourselves here in Allen County. We are part of the Mammoth Cave area, also part of District 6. So that's some administration terminology that may not mean as much to you, but ultimately if they do something outside of the county, but still not quite a state level event, then it's considered an area level event. We have a lot of kids who participate, for instance, in livestock shows, and horse activities that might be at the area level. It's also possible that maybe they did chicken barbecue or some of those other events that take place outside of the county, but not quite at the state level. Finally, we've got state level events and even room for the kids to put some national level events If the kids participate, for instance, in state fair, they can put that here. State level competitions, whether it be a skill-a-thons or bowls or you name it. There's a lot of different state level opportunities for kids to participate at maybe state fair or some of our state competitions. It may look like leadership conferences like Teen Conference and Teen Summit. Of course, those are just to name a few, but those are some things that they can list at the state level. For any person that's newer to 4-H, I have probably just rattled off a ton of new things that might be very new or foreign language to you. Just know that that all equals up to a lot of different ways that your kids can be involved. And there's so many ways that your child, despite their interest, can find something that they enjoy doing and get recognized at the county banquet, whether that be on the county, area, or state level. Then for our older kids, we want to extract a little bit of information. This form here will, the kids will be recognized for their years of participation in 4-H. So first and foremost, that's the main reason we have them complete this form, is they get recognition for that. And the kids get some really cool awards. The awards committee, once they review these, have selected anything from like drinkware for the kids to backpacks to t-shirts to sweatshirts to you name it, everything in between. As the kids progress in their numbers of years of participation, they'll get a different item. So one item is established for each year of participation. For instance, first year participation last year got a 4-H membership sign and a little zipper pouch for their pencil case. So that's just an example of what year 1 might look like, whereas year 10 might be the seniors' fancy jackets or graduation stoles or duffel bags or something like that. So lots of fun things that we like to give away to our kids based upon their years of participation. And this information is placed onto a PowerPoint. So not only does the committee want to know what you all have been doing, but we want to broadcast this to everyone who attends 4-H banquet as well. So it goes on the background. These questions that you see on page 2 of the member recognition form may also appear on that PowerPoint as well, and may also help in determining some other awards that this form is referenced to. So in the back, we asked them what their favorite project for the program year was and why, important skills that they learned, one goal that they have for the future, and then we asked them to list their leadership positions, clubs that they were involved in, and those types of things so that we can best understand. Now, we also give away, in addition to a variety of specialty awards, kids can be recognized for this form here, which is their years of participation. Kids can be recognized for their achievement level, which will be the next set of paperwork we talk about after these end of year forms. And they can also be recognized as outstanding members. So we have a couple of specialty awards that we give away each year, and we have outstanding members, we have new and upcoming members, lots of different ways that we recognize our kids for doing 110%. We have a variety of specialty awards that we review this application as well. So it's a little bit of an all-purpose application. In order for a child to be recognized at 4-H banquet, they just need to complete this form and turn it in. For the 2021 year, this form is due Friday, September 14th. So Friday, September 14th is the deadline for this year's forms. And that's when those forms are due. They might be the 24th. I'll double check that date and just double check that date before I send it out to you all. I meant to bring my agenda with me. But you've got about a month to work on these. I actually think it's the 24th. But anyways, you've got about a month to work on these. As you can see, this form is rather simple for the most part. We encourage kids to keep up with their activities. There's no reason you can't print this form from the beginning of the program year and just keep a record of these things moving forward, or keep it in a notebook and then write it down on this form before you submit it at the end of each year. And of course, there is a headshot, which will be included in the PowerPoint. That is kind of the basis of what this end of year member recognition form looks like. And of course, this is for ages 9 to 18. Are there any questions about this first form?
Anna, because Trenton is just now starting, I don't think he would be filling this out. Is that correct?
That is correct. That is correct, Amanda. But you have done a great job of like joining on, because what you'll learn is we're hoping that by addressing this, you'll learn what to look forward in a new year. So some folks that may be joining us on the video today, maybe your kids have already completed 1 year of 4-H. That's at least 1 year of 4-H. Once they complete 1 year, that's when they're going to be filling out this form. But if your child is brand new to 4-H or just starting this fall, then keep these things in mind. That way you already know what to do and what to expect at the end of completing 1 full year. And we always fill out this paperwork around August. So that's the time to kind of be looking for it.
Okay,
Good.
wonderful.
All right, I'm going to stop sharing this one. I'm going to jump over and share what the Cloverbud paperwork looks like. So same concept, they get recognized just like our older kids. We want to recognize those younger members as well. So I'm going to quickly show what the younger Cloverbuds would be using. Once again, Cloverbuds are ages 5 to 8 years of age. Their form is rather simple. We ask for a headshot as well as name, age, years as a Cloverbud. Their clubs, they'll list those. Then we have some really simple one-liner questions like, what was your favorite thing about 4-H? What did you learn? And what are you most excited about next year? Then one of my favorite parts is we've encouraged these kids to actually draw a picture of what their favorite part of 4-H is. So they are encouraged to draw that, and we all actually use that on their PowerPoint as well. So that's a kind of review of what the recognition forms look like. Once again, those are part of our recognition banquet. There are so many reasons that our kids should submit these forms. One, it's for the recognition. So we want to encourage your kids to continue to participate. Two, we want to recognize them for the cool things that they're doing, and they get some cool prizes in the grand scheme of things. And we're encouraged record keeping and actually keeping track of what the kids are doing from year to year to year. So that's just a really important process of what we're trying to encourage with 4-H. Some other forms that you might want to be aware of, or some other things that may be tied to that, to the previous end of year forms that we were discussing, is there's some awards that your kids may be eligible for. But in order to be eligible for them, they need to complete that member recognition form that we previously discussed. They could be eligible for the Clover 4-H'er Award, and that's a member that represents the true meaning of 4-H. They may not always be super competitive, but they give 110%. So if that sounds like your kid, that might be an award that they might be submitted from a club leader might want to submit. Some other awards also awarded at the county level is Community Pride. This is an example of a club that is very community service involved. So this is an award that is at the area and county level that we recognize. So we encourage all of our clubs to be very active in community service. Additionally, by completing the recognition form, the very first form we discussed, your child might be eligible for the Excellent and Outstanding 4-H'er Awards. Now, these are the big awards that are commonly really sought after. The Excellent and Outstanding 4-H'er Award represents kids that just really work really hard in Allen County 4-H. They're involved in quite a variety of different things, and they work really hard at their projects. Doesn't always mean that they're maybe the top achiever, doesn't mean that necessarily, but it means that they just put their all into it. We typically select 2 or 3 excellent juniors and an outstanding junior, as well as 2 or 3 excellent seniors and 1 outstanding senior. So a couple of excellent members chosen in each age division, and 1 outstanding junior and 1 outstanding senior. Those kids are nominated at the club level. Additionally, we have the Friend of 4-H, which is recognized in the community, the Making the Best Better Award. If your child sounds like one who represents our motto, which is making the best better, focusing on their head, heart, hands, and health, that may be one that they might be suggested for. Of course, we have our Outstanding Club Records for our club leaders that might be reviewing this video, just a friendly reminder that the following things are considered in our outstanding club records, which includes the program of activities, which is one of the vice president's roles, committee reports, another vice president role, secretary's book from the secretary, treasurer's book from the treasurer, newspaper articles from the reporter, and club scrapbook from the secretary. Additionally, we have a Rising Star form. We recognize a junior and a senior Rising Star. This award is a really great one for new upcoming members. These might be members that maybe aren't as competitive in the excellent or outstanding category just because they maybe haven't been in our program for a very long time. But we want to recognize those kids that are up and coming and making good headway and just trying to really participate and be really engaged in their club or in the county. So those are some other awards that are worth noting just because we have a lot of ways that we want to recognize our kids in Allen County. So first and foremost, the forms that I've covered so far are the member recognition forms, the one for the 9 to 18-year-olds, for the Cloverbuds, which is the 5 to 8-year-olds forms, and then some of the other awards that we award at Banquet. In addition to that, we have the achievement application. So not to confuse or overwhelm any parents that might be a little new to this system, the recognition form is the main form you want to focus on. That's the one that all of our kids, we want every single one of our kids to participate in and submit. It's a rather simple form for recognition at the county level. Note that this next form I'm going to talk about is an optional form. While I really wish that all of our Allen County 4-Hers would submit this form because there are some really cool benefits further down the line of participating in this program, it is not a required form for being recognized at Banquet. So if they submit the recognition form, then they'll get that primary years of experience recognition. The next form that I'm going to be discussing is the achievement application form. As kind of previously discussed, and as I keep repeating a little bit, just to make sure everybody's on the same page, the achievement form is a little bit different because it is a state level recognized program. Some of the background on the achievement program, and I'll share that in just a second, is the achievement application is geared towards recognizing our kids, not only at the county level, because not all counties have a banquet like we do, but recognizing them for all the things that they do at the state level. Along with our state achievement program, and the reason that kids might want to join this really young, like at 9 years of age, is there's lots of great benefits to that. Some include, but are not limited to, scholarship opportunities, like $1,000 scholarships. There's service projects. There are what we call bronze, gold, and silver and emerald achievements. So those are some highly competitive awards that are really recognized. One, that look really good on our members' resumes and forms for like college and that type of stuff as kids start planning towards that. But there are opportunities, for instance, to have trips sponsored. One of our main programs that we do with our teens is we have 2 teen programs. One called Teen Summit. That's for our middle school aged kids. Kids that receive their bronze may receive some financial assistance to go to or Clover Levels 1 and 2. When they receive Clover Levels 1 and 2, they receive financial assistance for Teen Summit. So that's a really cool program that they actually get partially paid for. Once they apply, there are levels 1, 2, and then bronze, silver, and gold involved with the state achievement program. Level 1 is accomplished after their first year. Once they meet the minimum level of points, which I will share in the achievement application, then they're eligible for level 1. That can be seen on this screen share. If you look at the center of the screen where the blue is at, you'll see that there are levels listed. The Clover level 1, 2, 3, bronze, silver, gold, and emerald. These are the things we encourage our kids. This is another form of record keeping, but I promise parents there's a lot. It's very advantageous to also participate in this. Our county form was developed to encourage all of our county kids to participate in it. But this by most means is one of the more premier ways to keep up with your kids' records and for them to be more competitive at a state level. All kids that complete Clover Level 1 are at least 10 years of age. That means they've completed 1 full year of 4-H participation, and they gain at least 25 points of participation. We'll talk a little bit more about participation as we go along with this form, but just kind of make a mental note of that. Second, on Clover Level 2, the age steps up each year, each time for this. So 11 years of age, 50 minimum points. For Clover Level 3, 12 years of age and 75 points. Bronze, 13 years, as well as 100 minimum points. Silver, 14 years, 150. Gold, 15 years of age, 20 minimum points. And emerald, at least 16 years of age and quite a few points. Just note that obviously each level is encouraged for continued participation in the Kentucky 4-H program, encourages growth. It is possible for youth to skip levels if they join at a later stage in life, but we encourage you to go from level 1, 2 to 3, and so on in the correct order, as it really encourages great growth for our kids. So let's talk more about the achievement application and why a form like this might be something that your child might actually want to participate in. And just rather than just assuming, oh, that's just another form of paperwork that we really have no interest in doing. Some of the things you might actually be very interested to know is what can they achieve? What can they achieve when they get to these levels? All right, so I'm going to stop sharing and make sure that I am sharing the eligibility form. As I previously mentioned, when they get those Clover Levels 1, 2, and 3, they get recognized at Teen Summit, which is our middle school leadership conference. So really cool opportunities there, and the county helps to finance some kids to attend Teen Summit. So that's something around that middle school age. When they get to bronze, there's the opportunity to get a financial support to attend teen conference. They get 1/3 of their way paid for teen conference. And that is one of our premier leadership experiences we really encourage our teens to go to. Teen conference, in short brief for our new families, is like a 4-day conference held on UK's campus, where kids not only focus on leadership, but they also get to network, meet a lot of new kids. They take classes as if they were in college. They have minors and majors. So they may major in agriculture, performing arts, or sciences and engineering, and actually take classes in those, as well as many more major areas, and learn more about an area that they're interested in. And they have minor classes in leadership. This gives the opportunity for kids to actually stay on campus, get a feel for that college environment, and learn more and be recognized for some of their achievements. Like they'll be recognized for receiving bronze, silver, gold, and emerald at teen conference. After bronze is silver. They get 2/3 of their way paid for teen conference once receiving silver. These areas, bronze and silver and gold and emerald, are all competitive categories. So many kids will enter, and by each level, it gets a little bit more and more competitive. By the time that there's gold, there's only 30 kids across the state of Kentucky. So there's some really cool recognition. And of course, that looks really good on resumes, and encourages kids to try their best, on their 4-H level and things that they're involved in. These kids get a scholarship to attend 4-H Congress. That is a really awesome program that's hosted in Atlanta, Georgia, for our top 30 kids. And then Emerald. Allen County has been incredibly lucky that over the last 6 years, we've had 2 kids receive the Emerald 4-H Award, one in 2015 and one in 2020, which is pretty awesome. This award is only given to 4 kids each year out of the entire state of Kentucky. So Kentucky 4-Hers are very passionate about their program. The ones that continue to progress in the program are shooting for those gold and emerald awards. Kids can participate in the achievement program up to the age of 18. In addition to the achievement program, as I'll kind of discuss here in a moment, it really just encourages our kids, not only from, competing at the state level, but we are just trying to build well-rounded kids. And I think that's what you'll see here in our achievement application that I'm going to show next. Going back to our achievement application with that first page that's got the blue table on there that identifies the levels that are available. Kentucky 4-H is asking kids to be well-rounded. So after the initial page that asks for basic information about your child's name, contact information, and their favorite 4-H activities listed each year, we are calculating the number of points that they get in each section, which is found on the third page. The achievement application is intended to focus on building well-rounded youth in the following 5 areas: leadership, civic engagement, communication with marketing, community action, and involvement with participation. These are the 5 ways that we are encouraging your kids to become more well-rounded and leaders in their community. On the 4th official page here, it's broken down. Each of those 5 categories that I just previously mentioned are broken down into subcategories. So not only are we're seeking for your child to gain leadership experience, but here are some ways that they can get points doing those things. So for our new 4-H families, these are some ways that your kids can be involved. Of course, not the only ways your kids can be involved, because all of the ways your kids can get points for every single thing that they do. And those, they achieve points at various levels. So if it's a county level event, they'll gain 1 point. Area or district, they'll get 2 points. State level, 3 points, and national level, 4 points. We're encouraging kids to stay involved. There's a variety of different ways that kids can participate. The involvement and participation section at the end is a bit of a catch-all. So everything that your child does fits there. Earlier in the first 4 categories, we're going to be discussing specific ways in which your child can really enhance their 4-H experience. Some of these include, but are not limited to, I'm going to roll through these fast as not to bore our listeners, but they can be an officer in their community club or a committee chairman, a 4-H counselor, assist a 4-H agent or program assistant or club leader. They can lead a community presentation. They can be a 4-H mentor. They can coordinate a 4-H event or program. They can do job shadowing or other outside 4-H experiences. So we are even encouraging not only your child to be involved in their county 4-H program, but even allowing for some points to be counted for things that they might be involved in, whether that be a sports or a church or religious group that you're involved in, or a community organization. We allow for points like that. So those are actually totaled in the very bottom. So once again, a recap of all the points are summed together at the very end, and then we just give them leadership points. As kind of previously mentioned, Clover Level 1 needs 25 points, for instance. So not all your points have to be gotten in leadership. There are 5 main categories your points can be gotten in. So if you say, oh, well, we're brand new, there's lots of other ways you can participate in. So just note that there are tons of ways for your children to be involved. But this is essentially a resume for your child's entire 4-H career. So while your child may not accomplish these things maybe in their first or second year, we hope that these are some leadership experiences that they may gain by the very end or throughout their 4-H experience. One of the 5 elements of a well-rounded 4-H member is encouraged civic engagement. So as leadership is kind of a given, you all know what leadership is. Civic engagement is referring to being involved in the community and understanding what it means to be a true citizen, whether that being tied into understanding how government works, to actually participating in some of those elements. So these items include visiting a state or national capital, touring courthouses or other government buildings, attending a government or elected official meeting, campaigning for 4-H offices, participating in touring the curriculum, the citizenship curriculum, so participating in that, as well as other civic engagement activities. So we're even giving you points for participating in some of these things and just being a more well-rounded community member. As you all have noted, some of these have descriptions underneath the title, so that can help some of our newer folks. The italicized underneath each title may even give some guidance and even relates to some of our curriculum at the state level. Our third main category is communication and marketing. This third main area is encouraging your kids to excel both or to participate both in verbal and written communications and visual communications as well. So of course, each year we have a county, area, and state level talk and demonstration competition. So that's a great example of participating in a communication contest. We have our 4-H radio and television that we do for National 4-H Week coming up here soon in the fall. Print communication, that may be your child helps to create a flyer for something going on in their club or something like that. There's social, digital media, and other online communication. Maybe your child is put in charge of that. Social media for, club communication for their club. And then those outside categories as well. And then we ask you to total those things up again. Moving on to community action. This is more or less community action is like community service, if you will. However, community service is not, it is well-rounded, is encouraging kids to be involved in their community. The difference between civic engagement and community action is civic engagement is geared more towards learning how to be a good citizen, from understanding the government aspect of that and how government is built, whereas community action is geared towards being providing service in the community. These also include organizing or planning a community action project, generating or participating in a fundraiser, if you will, or asking for donations on behalf of your club or county, participating in a volunteer service, and other outside activities that you might be involved in. Last but not least, this is where a lot of these participation points are going to fit into is involvement and participation. A lot of our younger members will be very heavy in involvement and participation, and this is where the bulk of your points are going to go in. This area includes, but is not excluded to, kids participating in conferences, trainings, workshops like the one we're on today, events, skill-a-thons, 4-H camps or day camps, 4-H programs and workshops, contests, tours, exchange trips, 4-H fair or our showcase in Allen County for our fair projects, 4-H activities, club meetings, record books, field trips, and so much more. So that's just to name just a few, and definitely for our new members, that's dozens of ways that you can be involved in 4-H and some of the things that we've got going on. We encourage kids to participate and list that. So for all the categories, you've seen that there is probably it asks for their year, it asks for the level of participation that they participated in something in. At the bottom of, or at the top of each page, you will always see a key that reads C for county, MD for multi-county or district, S for state, and N for national. And that system is used all the way across. The sections in between are used for describing what went on for a particular activity. And then we may even ask on this last section a specific question like what Clover level they were participating in. So if it's your very first year participating in 4-H and you were indicating, you went to 5 club meetings, then you would indicate Clover Level 1 and the type of involvement. So club meetings, for instance, at the county level, and indicate your points there. It's very possible that you may gain more than 1 point. So for instance, members may go to several workshops. I always encourage you to be a little bit more detailed rather than less detailed. So if you went to 3 different workshops, you might list each 3 names and put 1 per each line and list 1 point per county. It is possible to list various club meetings. There's nothing wrong for gaining points. If you went to 5 livestock club meetings, then you could write livestock club meetings and in parentheses times 5 and actually indicate 1 point for each of the 5 meetings you went to gain 5 points at the county level. So it's very possible even for our new members to gain 25 points when they're counting up the number of club meetings that they've been to or workshops or so on. Now, as our kids get older, we don't nickel and dime those points quite as much in general participation because we are encouraging more of those leadership or civic engagement, community service types of points. Whereas during this bottom participation Clover Levels, they only get to list their activities for their first 3 years of involvement. Moving forward, bronze, silver, gold, and emerald, they use this next section, which is there's no points, as you see, indicates just the year and type of involvement. We want to know how involved, that they've still remained involved, but we are encouraging kids in their older years will become more involved in those other sections as described, like leading, being a club officer, or creating a workshop or something like that. So those higher levels of participation. We also have a section for special recognition and awards. Those will be kids that have, achieved, they were maybe top 5 out of 100 participants, or maybe they won a class or something like that. They would list that there, and then extended outside 4-H activities. And then, of course, like all the other sections before, there is a subtotal section. So you subtotal each of those categories and total them at the bottom. After you've completed your application, each of the totals from the blue sections, such as we're seeing here, involvement and participation, the civic engagement, the community action, all of those will get recorded at the very end. Once you've completed your application, then you'll go to this page 3 and indicate the points per category. And that's how you know how many points you had per total. So once again, to get the points for this page, you simply just take the subtotals from each of the 5 main categories and all throughout the application. You bring them back up here to this 3rd page and you indicate them here and then get a total. Now, once again, for our families that might be a little overwhelmed, this application is not as hard as it appears. It's a large application, but you only fill out what applies to you each year. So yes, there are a lot of different categories and the terminology may be a little tricky, but we really want to encourage youth to participate throughout their 4-H years. Remember that this is just a form of record keeping that they are going to use and track all their 4-H participation over 10 years or so of involvement, or however long your child is involved in our program. So we track it all in this one document. You will use this document, save this document. It will be added to each year. So you don't have to retype it each year. You're going to add to it each year. It is a growing resume of what your child has accomplished in Allen County, the area, and Kentucky 4-H, and that's indicated on the achievement application. This application is used to track all those things. In the end, there's some really cool opportunities for scholarships for the kids, for recognition. We're encouraging kids to, 1, be well-rounded, but 2, have something to look forward to. They get to achieve the next level, and that gives them a goal that they can work towards each year. For many of our kids, this is a really big thing, is to set their eyes on Clover Level 1 and then Clover Level 2, 3, and so on as they grow on. And as they participate more and more, some of our kids do choose to compete more competitively for the bronze, silver, and gold categories. We've had a variety of different Allen County youth that have participated in those. And it is definitely a real accomplishment for our kids to get to that level. So at this point, that's a really brief version of the achievement application. And we also covered the end of year recognition forms. Parents, I know that's a lot to take in. What questions do you all have for me at this time?
I can't think of anything right now.
I know that's a lot of information to take in all at once. It is a lot of information. Just a reminder for our new families is breathe a second. It is a lot of information, but I promise you it's not near as bad as it looks. I would love to sit down with any new families as they have questions with the application and just help you through and walk you through this. That's why this workshop is hosted each year, so that we can just really help our families better understand what to expect. New families, if you started on this a year in advance, you're better off because you know what to expect throughout the year and how to prepare yourself so that you're not scrambling next year. Some of the bigger tips that I can give to any of our 4-H members is one, families, print this document out in advance. Now, one, we do want it submitted to us in a typed up printed form, right? But there's no reason that you can't print this off and take handwritten notes throughout the year and fill out these categories and then just type those notes up at the end of the year. Some of our other families have if you're not so much, after each club meeting, you come in and record it, or after each event, you go in a book. I've seen a lot of families take advantage of having a notebook or having as simple as your cell phone, taking the notes section and simply just writing livestock club meeting, October 14th, and just making a note of it and just keeping record of it. We a lot of times our parents help us to keep up with our records. As kids get older, we would love for our kids to take part of this. The idea is that the kids, this is their record keeping. Parents may help with some of the typing, but we really want to encourage your kids to write down, October livestock meeting, or, they attended the hanging basket workshop or something like that. So keep track of these however you will throughout the year. You're going to want to keep track of those things, which is really important for filling out either of the 2 forms that we've talked about during today's meeting and completing that throughout the year. What other questions do you all have for me? All righty. If there's no other questions, that's going to conclude our workshop today on assistance and completing the end of year recognition forms for our 4-H banquet, as well as the achievement application. Each year, touch base with Agent Anna or pay attention to your email for details on how to get a hold of these forms. These forms are emailed to you each year, placed on the website, and the deadlines are posted in various locations. Make sure to take note of that. Come September is when those forms are due. Don't drag your feet. Start on those in July or August. Don't wait till last minute. But we thank everybody for joining us today, and contact Agent Anna if you've got any questions. And you can reach us at 270-237-3146.